Hey, fifth grade. I hope you guys had fun doing the rainbow scavenger hunt last week. I would assume that your rainbows were probably the most creative out of any of the other grades. That being said, this week's project, let's go back to 1 point perspective. Unfortunately, we don't get to work on it right now because we are not at school. So I thought it might be fun for you guys to do just a fun, easy one at home. So let's get started. All right, the first thing you need to do is gather supplies. So, things you're gonna need. You're gonna need a piece of paper. You're gonna need a pencil with an eraser. Guess what? I have one that's sharpened with no eraser, and then I have one that is not sharpened with an eraser. So I need to use both of these. Then, if you don't have a ruler, don't worry. You don't need to worry about straight lines for this. Just do your best. Surprisingly, even as the art teacher, I couldn't find a ruler around my house. So I'm gonna use this colored pencil container as my ruler. All right, let's get started. All right, let's start drawing. So first I'm gonna apologize for my canned good tower. That's how I'm holding my camera up. But let's start with the basics. First thing we need is a horizon line separating the ground from the sky. Next thing we need is that vanishing point, that line that all of our lines are going to move back to create the illusion. Next, we're gonna add the road. Now this is where I'm gonna use my fake ruler. Draw those lines in. Now I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna draw the lines in my road, but I'm not gonna use my ruler. I'm gonna start at the vanishing point so I know that I'm going there. And I'm gonna start teeny tiny. And then as I get closer and closer to the edge of the picture plane, I'm gonna make sure that it gets bigger as it comes to the foreground of my paper. Next, I'm gonna start building a building. I'm gonna start on one side. I'm gonna use my ruler to make the foundation, the bottom of the building. Then I'm gonna bring my walls up. And I'm just gonna kind of make that kind of basic house shape. Then I'm gonna take my eraser and I'm gonna erase the horizon line because we're overlapping here. Next, I'm gonna take my ruler and I'm gonna lead the inside corners to the vanishing point. It's kind of hard to see with my fake ruler that I'm in the exact right place, but we're gonna go with close enough, right? All right, so I built my first building. Need to remember to erase my vanishing or my horizon line there. Now I'm gonna move on to my next building. This time I'm gonna be lazy and I'm just gonna do no ruler lines. I've got the foundation. I'm gonna build my walls up. I'm gonna do this one a little more interesting. I'm gonna bring all my lines to the vanishing point. Now you can kind of see the difference between using a ruler and not using a ruler. I'm gonna erase the horizon line there. I'm gonna come to the vanishing point. I don't think it's barely gonna make it there. Oh, but I forgot to erase the horizon line here. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to add sidewalk. I'm gonna go ahead and add sidewalk in the front of my building. So I'm adding that sidewalk here. And then remember that the lines moving back are just regular horizontal lines. You don't angle them. But to create that illusion of depth, you have them get closer and closer together as they move back in the picture plane. I'm also going to do the straight lines here, and as it goes around the corner, I will give it a diagonal. I'm gonna come to a sidewalk on the other side, making it straight here. I guess the sidewalk is not as wide in the front of the building. Normal straight in the front. As it moves back in the picture plane, just regular horizontal lines, but getting closer and closer to create that illusion of depth. Next, I'm gonna add some windows to the side. Remember, if you do windows, your vertical line is straight up and down, but your horizontal line leads to the vanishing point. Then, to create that illusion of depth, you can make your straight up and down vertical lines, but have them get closer and closer together as they move back in the picture plane. Now, here's where you can have fun. Start adding things like doors and windows. Again, you don't have to use your ruler for this project, so it won't take as long. But try to be creative still. Maybe think about a door frame. You can even Google things at this point. Maybe I make this the Target because I have ordered a lot of stuff from Target lately. Work on doing bubble letters instead of just stick letters. I know this doesn't look exactly like the Target font, but in my 1-point perspective project, this is what it looks like. I added the logo there. Maybe this other building, I make, maybe it's an Aldi. Big sale. Now I'm gonna move on to my background. Think about how you have your buildings coming up from the horizon. Remember, they come from the horizon. You don't start them way down here. You can make all your buildings normal. You can make them different shapes. That's up to you. You could continue to do the ruler, or you can make them completely fantasy buildings too. So that is up to you. Keep in mind things like overlapping. When you go to do windows, let's say I do circle windows on this building. First of all, think about how they should be in rows, but then also think about how this building is in front and we might not see all of the windows there. Feel free to get super creative with your backgrounds. Maybe instead of doing a cityscape, maybe you do a mountain range in the background. So you can kind of draw your mountains overlapping. Maybe I make some snow at the top. Maybe you add some like little trees on the mountain. Maybe you draw some tiny, tiny people sledding, some big clouds up in the sky. So that is one thing you could decide to do instead of doing a cityscape in your background. Another fun background you could do is an outer space background. Maybe you decide to make like a couple planets. Maybe I make like Saturn coming here. I have to make sure that I erase where the ring is because that's in front. But maybe I add some fun different planets this way, and then add some stars. Maybe I add a little spaceship right here with like a little alien guy inside saying hi. So that's up to you. Get creative. Maybe you make your background under the sea. I don't know. Have fun with this perspective project. Once you're done, feel free to Sharpie it. If you don't have Sharpie around the house, no big deal. I only had a brown Sharpie, so I used a brown Sharpie to trace mine. If you have a way to add color to it, go for it. Add color. Use marker, use crayon, use colored pencil, use a combination. And then if you want, feel free to email me your pictures and I will post them to the Instagram page. Again, have fun. Don't stress out about it. Enjoy this, make it super creative, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.